Talk Show, Sir Charles, Miss Max. Back like we never left.
Yeah.
Because we are in fine company right about now. Very familiar to our listeners and to these airwaves, none other than Leslie Scott Jones from over at the Jefferson School African American Heritage Center. Happy New Year to you, Leslie.
Yes.
Charles, she was responding to your intro like, I've been here before.
I know. Like,
I'm kind of part of this now.
I know what this is.
I know what's going to come next.
That's right. You know how we do, Leslie?
I do.
Yeah.
New year, man.
That's right. 2024.
Ooh.
You know, I mean,
I'm happy to see it too.
Right.
I'm very happy to see it. 2023, started off strong. You know, it was one of those ones where start off real strong and then you get a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? And then somewhere along the way, somewhere wrong. Somewhere wrong. And we were just done with each other. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I got to see you again. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But I'm glad that we made it, right? Glad that we made
did.
It.
High hopes for 2024.
Yes, indeed.
You know what?
Goals?
2024 is going to be super busy.
Yeah.
But it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. And it was funny. We had done Kwanzaa in the beginning of December, hoping that meant that Dr. Douglas and myself could take like a week and a half off at the end of December. No, it did not work out that way. And then we were like, well, wait, you know what? We got these few days around like New Year's, like we can kind of slide into it, right? We ain't gotta like hit the ground. No,
didn't work like that.
No,
either, huh?
didn't work like that either. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Because for those that don't know, you are staff there, a critical, crucial, cornerstone of the Jefferson School, African Heritage Center here in Charlottesville. Continue doing great work. And it's yet another year, to uphold the community. I think Max was just saying just a minute ago, what's on the top of the goal list for 2024?
Before we jump into that, something Charles just said, like, do you understand that you are viewed as a cornerstone?
No, not at all.
Yeah, because
and
when
it kind of makes
Leslie,
me,
I can't.
And it kind of makes me uncomfortable that you said
without thinking Leslie, and I can't think Leslie without thinking the Jefferson School. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that makes me like really, really proud and really humbled. But I don't think of myself that way. I think of myself as stewarding this place for the community, right? I'm just the vehicle that's making sure that this place is respected and taken care of, and will be here for the next generation to use and learn from and have.
Yeah,
that's
on your mission.
Yeah,
That's very important. It's very important. And,
absolutely.
But at the same time, you and Dr. Douglas got to get your flowers because speaking on behalf of my people, sometimes we don't show up. Sometimes we don't support, whether it's with our presence or whether it's with our finances. But I wholeheartedly believe that any little bit that we can do should be done. Because if, God forbid, the Jefferson School is not there, it would be a hole in this community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we understand that the Black community understands that. Good. And it's one of those things where when we are under siege, like most Black organizations are under siege daily, it seems like. There are those times where Dr. Douglas looks at me and she's like, you know what? I know all I got to do is make 2 phone calls and everybody in this community be right here at this door being like, what the? So like, we know. We know. Do we wish you were in the building more? Absolutely. But we also know that you got us.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And that absolutely helps.
Yeah, well, that makes my heart glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
And,
now back to this goals.
And Max, well, you know what, Max? like, since you already, added a pause there, how about the 2023? Like, what were some, we could do the review before the preview. Like, so what was some of the things, like your top accomplishments for the years and some things that you maybe, wish never happened?
Yeah. Wish never happened. We ain't getting personal here, Charles. I think the biggest thing was that 2023 was the 10th year of operation for us.
That's right.
And to make it to that 10th year when people didn't even think we were going to last 5 years, that was icing on the cake, and I guess, the bottle of champagne next to the cake was CPG finishing the August Wilson American Century Cycle. That was something that was 7 years in the making. And it was really weird because we finished the last show, which very purposely on my part, I didn't direct it. I have nothing to do. I was like, here, take it, do what you will. I will be there to do the curtain speech every night. That was my thing.
Okay.
But, I handed it over to Darnell. So it was like, I knew who I was handing it to. I was like, yo, do your thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I was kind of like, really? Is it over? Like, it was just the weirdest, the strangest feeling to be like, oh, we're done. And be like, wait a minute, we done? How did that happen? That seemed to go a lot quicker than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And I think the next thing is all of the research and the archival work that we do. I mean, Jordy also needs his flowers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that man, I could not spend as much time as he does looking through public records. Like he is there day in, day out, digging, right? And it's all so that we have a very full picture of what Black life looked like in this area over time. Like that is literally what he's doing.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
And we're getting ready to open another part of the permanent exhibit based on his research. And without him doing that work day in, day out, we wouldn't know some of the things that we know. Like he's the one that found out that the first iteration of the NAACP in Charlottesville was 1918. Right? We didn't know that before. Literally before, a year and a half ago. We did not know that. We were placing it much later in time. And he found a mention in a newspaper about it. And then that forced us to go, wait a minute, what? And so the stuff that he does, the little tidbits of information that he finds really impacts how we look at the growth of Black life in this town and in this space. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Definitely. Shout Jordy out.
Yeah. That's my buddy.
Yeah. So something that definitely I think was highlighted last year, but of course it's something that's never going to go away because, as you said, Black organizations are going to come under like unprecedented fire. Yeah. Especially when they're successful, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And especially like when you're going against the norm, right? Status quo.
Yes.
So in saying that, like you through your art, you are, very, very, very vocal. You don't bite your tongue. I don't think I've ever seen you bite your tongue no matter who's in the room.
That hurts. Why would somebody do that?
Same for Dr. Douglas. So, I know that, like you all are involved in the community in different ways. Can you share how that has impacted Jefferson School? Like, do you have to deal with folks who say, well, I'm not going to support y'all because I don't agree with what you did with the statue or, all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely.
And do you care?
And we don't. We really don't. I mean, and I don't want to sound callous when I say that, but at the same time, like, you are entitled, whoever that you is, you are entitled to your opinion. Right. And the only thing that I can do is explain to you why I believe this project is important, why I believe that this is the right way to do it, why I believe this was important for this particular organization to do it. That's all I can do. And if you don't believe me, if you don't subscribe to I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree. And it doesn't mean that I don't respect you, that I don't like you, that it just means that on this particular thing we're not gonna see eye to eye. And that's okay. That's really okay.
So it was definitely a worthwhile question, Charles, and we ask it all the time because there's something to dissecting all of that.
Oh yeah,
but I feel like when we talk about being under attack constantly, whether we're referencing that to being a black individual or a black organization or what have you, like we have to stay in the confines of that, so live in the confines of that so often. And I think that we have done enough, grown enough, accomplished enough to not give what anymore.
Absolutely.
And be able to say that.
And here's the thing. I teach a class at Jeff School, and it's called The Black Theatrical Voice. And part of what I do, it's a 6-week class, and part of what I do each week is I pick a play that embodies a tenet of white supremacy. And I use that to show how it plays out in our real lives, right? One of the tenets that always gets a lot of conversation is this idea that things can only be one way, right? That it has to be this way, right? This way is right and this way is wrong. When in our daily lives, we come up against duality all the time, right? You can love your child.
Say so.
Yet,
bring it home.
When they are throwing that particular tantrum at grandmama house, you can also want to not have a child anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, duality is duality, right? So we accept it in certain situations in our lives, but for whatever reason, it gets really difficult when we start talking about anything business related or institution related, right? And so I tell people all the time, you don't have to agree, right? You don't even have to go along with it. You can be vehemently opposed to it. But just because you're vehemently opposed to this one thing doesn't mean you have to write off the organization or the people who run it.
Right.
That's right.
It just means that you don't agree with that one thing. Like, you don't agree with everything your partner has ever done in their entire life. But that doesn't mean you sign a divorce papers tomorrow.
And don't think because I take the time to explain my position to you that I care anymore.
That I care. Right.
I mean,
I'm explaining.
At a certain point, we can't mince words
I'm
anymore.
explaining because I respect you. And after this conversation, you still don't subscribe to what's going on here? Bet. It's calm.
Right.
Like, no harm, no foul. But I ain't going 10 rounds with you about it either.
We're going to call this segment No F's Given.
There you go.
Ever. I'm sorry. Yes, I love. You know what? I think I had that last one in a purse that's been lost in my closet since 1985. Haven't found it since. I don't know where it went.
So Leslie, it seems like something that Max and I have asked the last couple of guests. In that vein, how hard does it get? And how many times, do maybe you and Miss Douglas have to sit back and be like, wow, we're going to bat constantly. And even sometimes the people that we're going to bat for aren't supporting in the ways that we need them to support. But the people that's arguing with us are like, hey, I can give you this, I can give you that. That's a black struggle right there, for black business.
Absolutely. That absolutely is the struggle. but I think it also depends on why you're doing what you're doing,
Yes,
right?
yes,
like as far as like Charlottesville Players Guild is concerned, like I am literally doing that and choosing work that is going to be something that Black artists in this area would never have a chance to do, right? I'm choosing it to make sure that they are being able to work on things that are rich and deep and something that's going to push them, right? Now, if that ain't your cup of tea to sit in an audience and watch, that's fine.
Right.
You ain't gotta show up.
Yeah.
I'm not really doing it for you. Do I need the ticket sales so that I can pay these beautiful artists? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I ain't twisting nobody's arm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I completely, having grown up in this area and having like literally both sides of my family here, I completely understand how the Black community is like, yeah, you took it down, but that didn't change anything for my Wednesday at 4 p.m. Right? And I understand that and I get it. But I think what the perspective that they don't have is that we are eventually, like, yes, taking down the statue may not have affected anything for you. Yet 5 years down the road, when we have taken a survey of the people who actually live in this area, when we give them information about what this land that we now call the parks around this area, what it was before it was a park, and how it came to be, when we start forcing our city and our county to look at how they construct parks and what they put in it, and asking them to think about the people that surround it. When we've gotten a national or perhaps internationally known Black artist to then create something out of the material that was used to oppress us. And it's put up in a place and in a way that actually invites us into a public space.
Yeah, there's a symbolic and a substance.
There's symbolic, there's substance, and that's absolutely going to change how you interact with public space in this city. And that's something that's going to affect your life.
And our people have to be willing to just expand your thinking a little bit.
Yeah, just like, you know what, slow your roll. Like, I get it. I get all of your, I get all of it. Just slow your roll.
You know, a big thing that makes me think of is how it's alleviating the mental stigmas that now will be cut off for future generations.
Yeah.
You know what I liken it to? I liken it to going into a Black church and you seeing a white Jesus on the fan.
Ooh.
You know, that's what I liken it to. You know, so now future generations.
Don't get me started.
So now future generations can go down Market Street, and now there'll be a generation of kids who will never have to look at that edifice.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right.
You know.
And on top of that, a generation of kids that think of park space as something that belongs to them. Right? Because I know I had people, in my family who were like, I've never been to that park. But they never stopped to think why. Right? It was just like, nah, I don't go over there. But why don't you go over there? This is your city. Your taxes go to maintain the park. Why don't you go over there? Nobody ever asked them that question. So they never thought about it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why they're saying, oh, it doesn't impact me. It doesn't change my life. But it will. Just give us a minute. Give us a minute. It will make sense in the end, I promise.
And empowerment is real. So I think about my greats.
Yes.
Who will someday read or see read a plaque that says what once was.
Yes.
And what the people look like who did what.
Yeah.
And now where we are,
Like, for instance.
That's going to be empowering to them.
So, for instance, like completely different like genre, but a Black woman was just hired as like the CEO of Nintendo.
Okay. Didn't
Right?
know that.
And everybody was like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at the diversity. Ooh, da 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 da. Yeah, guess what? In the 70s, a black man was the one who designed the original game console that every single gaming company uses to this day. He created the blueprint. But we don't hear nothing about him.
Don't hear nothing about it.
Yeah.
We don't hear nothing about him. We only hear about the black female president of the company, you know, almost 80 years later, because everybody's like, oh yes, we did a diversity thing. We have to push that. We have to make sure everybody knows, right? Because once again, it's white supremacy working, right? They want to put something up front so that you don't pay attention to the thing that's happening over the back door.
Right.
Never telling people that the console that every single gaming company based their thing off of was built by a black man.
Yeah.
And he never got any recognition or ownership of the thing or anything because he just worked for a company in Silicon Valley.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
So like that's what I'm saying. So what I guess what I would like people to understand most about how we make decisions about what projects and how we do or what we do, it's always grounded in the thought that we as black people should never want to be in a white space more than we should want to create our own.
Ooh. One more time for the people in the back.
We should never, as black people, want to be in a white controlled space more than we want to create that space for ourselves.
Why is that so hard for us to get?
I don't know. I
don't
don't
either.
know. And it baffles me. It every time I see somebody do it, I'm like, but you know, going over there ain't gonna be happy for you. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
But that's part of that mental stigma that comes from trauma that we were talking about, like, because we have generational PTSD.
Absolutely.
It's like their water is colder, their grass is greener.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's what
And
it
it's
is.
not.
It's not.
And it's literally not.
Yeah.
And not only is it not colder and not greener, but you're gonna add more trauma
Yeah.
by being in that room trying to be heard.
Yeah.
When you could just stay in the room you in and be completely heard and build something that like it really it will never make sense to me. It will never make sense to me.
I may need you to be my Luther, like you know how on you know that Key and Peele skit where they had Luther was the guy that was saying what Barack Obama really wanted to say,
Yes.
what the black Barack wanted to say.
Yes.
I may need you in some
I
of
will
my
be your
meetings.
anger translator. Yes, I will absolutely do that. I do that for a lot of my friends already.
Dr. Douglas, you know, she should be here to speak for herself. But is there a certain level of, a certain degree of pressure that comes along with being with spearheading this type of work for
Absolutely.
the community and making sure that you are pushing the movement forward and in the right way and being on the edge of
Absolutely.
it at all times?
But at the same time, when you're in that position, when you are trying to enlighten someone, when you are trying to show them something that they've never been exposed to before, there's always going to be that pushback, right? There's always going to be that resistance to it. But I mean, you can't let that stop you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not part of the mission.
Right.
You know,
and I
sitting
guess
down
I'm
is not a
also
choice.
I'm
That's right.
also referring to the pressure you all may place on yourselves as black women who care about what they do,
I will accept that.
who, you know, stand on the integrity of what they do, who are going to give it everything they got, who
Yeah.
are not going to, you know, fall, who refuses to fall by the wayside, who refuses to say no, refuses to give up, who makes it hard work seem easy.
I'm glad I make it seem easy. It don't feel easy over here, but I'm glad I make it seem easy. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, and we actually had we have conversations about this all the time, and I think it was right before Christmas. It was like a week and a half before Christmas, and I got a cold, and then she got a cold. So we're like, picking up for
giving
each other.
Colds.
And so, I stayed home, and so that meant she had to come in. So then when she got sick, I had to come in, even though I wasn't really feeling great. And so I came in on a Saturday for just a little bit of time to finish something. And I'm standing there, and I was like, I don't know what it is, but as soon as I got here, all of a sudden, like, I have this headache. She's like, "'Cause you here?" And I'm like, you know what? Stop playing. That is not it.
Hey,
But at the same time, this is work that that gives you an amount of joy and accomplishment and. There is no other job that could give me feed me right, my soul.
Yeah, it's your calling.
Yeah,
it's your calling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you only can run but so long from your calling, right? It's like you gotta turn
around and be like, all right, you got me.
And I keep trying to transition, but this is such a rich conversation, like because you just made me think about, and I want your opinion on this, because I love like how your mind works. But like a conversation I have with people a lot, as harsh as the term sounds, like when you say sacrifice or sacrificial, even, to an extent, when it comes to activism, the people who have the passion and who are called to do that, not that you sacrifice your life literally, but it's like sometimes people underestimate just the stress that comes with it. While just like you said, at the same time, you have a passion for it, but on the flip side,
here's the thing. I don't know, even though I have been in that activist space in the past, I don't really think of what I do at Jeff School as activism. I think of it as me finally being in a space and a place where I can be my full self.
Right.
It's important.
Right. And I'm doing it because I want to create that for the rest of us.
Right.
Like the fact that I had to wait until my 40s to have a job where I could bring my full and authentic self to it every single day.
Right.
Is horribly sad.
Yeah.
That's sad. And so I know what it's like to work at that job where you can't say nothing. Right? Okay. I'll just keep my mouth shut. Oh no, I'm going out for lunch today because there's going to be a mimosa or something because I got to come back in here. I've worked those jobs. I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
So, this is my way of trying to give other people that space and that place where when they walk in, this is about you. This is about you, and that's it. And we will tell. We do have a lot of white volunteers.
Yeah.
However, each and every one of them, when they came into the place, was told, this is a black space.
Yeah.
A black person comes here and says 1, 2, and 3 to you. The only thing you have to say is, absolutely, let me go see about making that happen. That's your response. That is it.
That's important.
Because this place is for them. It's not for you.
Yep.
And they understand that.
So how do you onboard for that? No, I'm just
literally the question that we ask, whether you're volunteering, whether you to work there, an internship, whatever it is, the very first question that is asked, how do you feel about chaos? How do you respond to it? You know, what do you do about it? Because that's kind of where we live every single day. And it's, and I mean, and I don't mean it to sound bad. It's not necessarily bad chaos all the time. Sometimes that chaotic energy is really great.
Right.
But yeah, we move really fast, and we're doing, you know, most of the time 5 things at once in a given day.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so family, we are joined by Leslie M. Scott Jones. Got the middle initial in there that time. Curator of Public Programs, Learning and Engagement at our Jefferson School Heritage Center. And, you know, Leslie, something that this conversation just made me think of as well, because it's something else that we as a community and business people also go through a lot. That balance, how do you determine that balance of being a black space, but at the same time, you know, like realizing that we are a diverse community and other races, ethnicities are going to come into our space. They even may want to help and contribute.
Yes.
I'm just curious, like, what's that approach to maintaining that black space? Because, you know, a lot of us would be like, I'm only doing business with black people, only selling to black people.
Yes.
That's all I'm doing. And then I have to remind people, your business is not going to be that successful if that's all it is to it, you know, because we're not in that. That's
a numbers game. But here's my question. I saw this this clip of Ta-Nehisi Coates, and he was talking about, he was answering a question where a girl was asking about the use of the N-word, right? And I love the way he put it in context, because he was like, words only offend or delight someone when they're in a certain context, right? He's like, you know, my wife and her girlfriends use the B word with each other all the time. I don't feel like I should, you know, go in there and say, "Hey,
what do you think, Charles?"
You bet not. No.
You bet not.
He's like, no, and I don't want to, right? Because it's not my place. That is not a space that's made for me, right. But when you talk about the N-word, just like when you talk about black institutions or black businesses, all of a sudden there is an automatic sense of ownership by everybody else but black people. Right? And it's literally because our culture has told them that everything belongs to them. Our culture and how they interact with the world has told them that they have no place to hear the word no. Right?
Yeah.
Yet that culture has told us the very opposite.
That's right.
Right?
Wow.
We live our lives based on the restrictions of what we can do, and they live a life with no restriction. Right? So when somebody starts
we have to unlearn our restrictions.
And we have to unlearn just like they have to unlearn. Right? So when somebody talks to me about, oh, well, are you worried? And, well, you know, what if these people stop coming, or what? You know what? Those people are always going to come. If they're really about it, they're going to be in the room. Right? If they're about it for the right reasons, they're going to be in the room. Because white people who understand what I just said will be like, right, and I need to be in that space because I need to be uncomfortable. I need to be in that space where I am challenged to keep my mouth shut when it ain't about me. Right? Like, those people will always be in the room. Right? And we should not stop ourselves from being in that same room simply because one of them is. This is our space. We claim it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
unapologetically.
I would say it was like 5 years ago when I realized that I had been taught by my grandmother, who was an amazing woman, that if I'm walking down the street and a white person is walking towards me, that I'm supposed to move. And I don't fault her for that. That was her lived experience. That's how she survived. Right? Don't fault her for that at all. I thank her for teaching me that. But literally like 5 years ago, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yep.
This is my space, just like it is theirs. I have every right to inhabit the space that my physical body inhabits when I walk down the street.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't even recognize we're doing those things.
Right.
You know, just living by it.
And literally, that when I realized it, I'm like, okay, I'm not moving anymore. I'm not moving anymore. Y'all gonna have to move around me. I don't care. You know? And it makes you walk different. It makes you think different.
Yeah, hold your head high.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, you know, that's how I look at that stuff. And I have, like I've said before, you know, on this show, everything we do is for Black people. Everything. You know what we got coming up this year?
Yes, indeed.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, so January 27th. We're doing a 24-hour theater festival as a fundraiser for Charlottesville Players Guild.
Okay.
It is so much fun. So 7 playwrights meet Friday night. They get a prompt that is created by an audience that night. They pick it out of a hat. They go home, they write a play overnight. They turn it in at 5 a.m. Directors come in, they pick the play they're going to direct out of a hat. Actors come in, the directors pick their actors out of a hat. They rehearse all day and we perform it twice at night.
Oh, wow.
So 24/7 is a thing that friend of mine, Ray Netzel, who runs Whole Theater, created. And he's done it in the area for a really long time at another organization. And this past March, he came to me and he was like, because of COVID, he hadn't done it in a couple of years. And he was like, I really want to do it again, but I want to do it for CPG.
Okay.
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I just feel like this is the place that it's supposed to go. And awesome. I'm like, bring it. Let's go.
Yep.
And my only caveat to him was, if we're going to do it in this space, it's got to be blackety black, 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 black. So we have 4 playwrights, 3 directors, and 19 actors.
Wow.
All Black.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
it.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
And it's going to be so much, like, it's so much fun. I have done this a few times. I've acted in it 3 times. I've directed it once, and I've written for it once. And every single time, it's a blast. It is an absolute blast. It's so much fun. So even if you have never gone to see live theater, you can come see this, because it's so crazy and fast paced and just outside the box that it's not quote unquote theater. You know what I'm saying? Like it is so guerrilla in its creation that it's just out of this world. So if you are a theater lover, you're really gonna like this, because you're like, seriously, somebody wrote this and like turned it in at 5 a.m. and now I'm watching it. This is crazy, man. You know.
Love it.
So there's that into January, and then in March, T. Ames, Rochelle Claiborne, and I are doing another Songbirds and Divas concert on March 2nd. Actually, we just finished the set list, making the set list yesterday. And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
No, so remind us of how all that will play out again. You 3 will sing, right?
Yes, so the 3 of us are singing. So each of us has our own set.
Okay.
And then we come together. So we take a little break, and then we come together and we do some like girl group tunes at the end. So I will tell you that in November, it was like, I think it was the day of the concert, and we were like, doing some last minute rehearsing with the band, and I think all three of us kind of looked at each other and went, did we really just give ourselves like 3 hours of music to sing? Did we really do that? And it was like, yes we did, and we didn't think anything of it. And like the next day, none of us could talk.
Right. Had that hot tea going.
Oh my God. But it was fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And getting to play with people like Chris Red and, Drew Pompano and Ray Ray. Oh my God. Like, woo, that man is a drummer. So, like getting to play with those guys, was really part of the fun. And literally after the concert in November, T and I were like gathering up our things, and I had to wait for Pendleton Presents for our sound guys to like pack up everything, right? And the band's packing up at the same time, and Drew and Chris come by and they're like, when we doing the next one? And we're like, yo, do you understand how tired we are? Can you give us a minute? So yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I apparently this time around I'm the problem child because I found sheet music right for all of our stuff, and 4 of my songs I couldn't find sheet music for. So thank you, Drew, for doing charts for my songs, because I'm the problem child this time around. I'm so sorry.
And I'm sure you guys have a lot of kid activities planned, festival.
Oh my goodness,
festival or something similar. Probably using the wrong word.
Doing so. Actually, our Echo East Day drumming classes start up again on the 20th.
Okay.
We are also going to start offering guitar lessons along with that.
Nice.
And I'm working on a little something.
Okay.
I'm going to tell y'all, but y'all can't tell nobody.
Okay.
I'm working on some African dance classes too.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you got a child that wants to learn some stuff, come on. Like Buster is teaching them drumming. I got my friend Steve who's like ready to go to teach guitar. I even have a piano player. So if they want to learn piano, I got you.
So you know what would be really cool is to have some of the kids perform in.
They are going to. They are going to perform during Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So that's
awesome.
already on the schedule. And I would really like, what I think would be really cool is to get like a few like mothers and daughters together to do the dance classes.
Okay.
And have them dance on Juneteenth while the drummers play for them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would just be the coolest thing ever. So, y'all out
Shout
there,
out
you want
to
to
Lily, because she's still out here dancing.
Yes,
hey, you know, like,
that's indeed. Knees like Lily.
So, y'all gonna, hey, mother and daughter, y'all want to do something together? It's only gonna be like Saturday mornings for like 3 months. We're going to start in March and do it for like 3 months. Get y'all ready, to perform on the big stage.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
you know, get together with your little ones. Spend some time.
Yeah. We definitely need more of that for sure.
And we are currently accepting volunteers for the Juneteenth Planning Committee. Okay. So that is also on our. I think I put it on the website today. That may have been one of the things that slipped through the cracks today, but it'll be up there by tomorrow. Anyway.
And do you have that festival at the Jefferson School, or is that over at the park?
No.
Okay.
No. It's on our yard.
Okay.
We put up a big stage and a tent.
Nice.
So we'll be getting people on board for that committee.
Okay.
And of course, we're doing the parade again this year. Which is going to be so much fun. So everybody that walked in it last year or the year before, hit me up.
That's right.
Let's get you signed up and ready to roll.
And so what all goes into, or how do you choose these exhibits that you are displaying at the Heritage Center?
Well, Dr. Douglas is in charge of all of the exhibitions. Okay. And yes, she does have all of the exhibitions for the Contemporary Gallery planned this year. And Derek Waller is going to have an exhibition. Nice. And Corey Price is going to have an exhibition. Nice. Okay. So the next time we send out a call for submissions, like, y'all need to be on it.
Yeah.
Because we really do want at least 2 of the shows in there a year to be a local artist, so people that like know you can come and walk into a gallery and be like, oh, look at you. You know, like, come on, that's fun for us too.
Yeah.
And I literally had to have drinks with Corey, and I think I twisted her arm off to like put in the submission. I'm like, girl, it's sending an email with some pictures attached. Like, what is the problem? And she was like, but I don't know. It's not finished and it's not perfect. I was like, Corey, please send the email.
But thanks to everybody, to the whole team. This is good stuff, and we're going to keep championing it for you.
Y'all need to sign up for the Liberation and Freedom Day reparations run, too, because that is benefiting 7 Black organizations in town.
Is this new? Did you do one last year?
Yes, we did one. We've done it for 2 years.
Okay.
So yeah, it's 8 miles, I think, unless they've changed the route from the last time I looked at it. But yeah, Prolific is helping us set it up.
Right. Okay.
And it benefits.
Now, can we walk?
Yes, you can absolutely walk. Yes, you can walk. It's fine. You ain't gotta run. Trust me, I ain't running nowhere. I have 2 black eyes. But it benefits 7 Black organizations in town. So like the NAACP, Prolific, Vinegar Hill Magazine, AATF, 101 Jams. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing it for us.
Okay.
So the more people that sign up, then that means the more, like, just a little bit of extra money that these organizations were not planning on having.
And when is that? I'm sorry.
That is on March 2nd.
March 2nd.
Yeah, the sign up is on the website already. So yeah, go sign up. Get a little team together.
Yeah, y'all got a busy first quarter.
Oh my God.
And you planned it all.
I planned it all. See, y'all were enjoying some Christmas cheer, and I was sitting in my mama's living room going, so when do we do this? Yeah.
That's right. No time off, no rest for the weary. So now, but Leslie, thank you as always for joining us, of course. But definitely, last but not least, let folks know how to get in touch with you to get involved, whether that be membership, volunteering, or what have you.
Absolutely. My email is publicprograms, all lowercase, all one word, at jeffschoolheritagecenter.org. And my office number is 434-260-8722.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Family, we have been joined by Leslie Scott Jones, curator of public programs, learning and engagement at our Jefferson School Heritage Center. Leslie, can't wait to see you out there and continue blessings. Please keep up the great work.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Thank you.
IMHO Talk Show.